Hello guys and girls, everyone who plays 270, America's best political and strategic game out there. I am commentating the multiplayer final. My name is Brendan Borman and I am independent Donald Trump. I am independent because I have no sides and I do not care who wins, but I'm here to bring you this live final. And we have FDR. We have Ronald Reagan. We have Grant. And we have Michelle Obama. So, who will take down this first ever multiplayer lounge tournament? We will find out. I will not be making any moves. I will be spending $0 per turn. Now it's interesting because we have Reagan, who of course has his big bonus, his big conservative 40% bonus. Could he go for national groups right off the bat? Then you have FDR. FDR has a very powerful manufacturing bonus of 40%. And that is a very popular place to go in the early rounds. Of course, we have Grant. Grant also has his manufacturing bonus, as he has an African American, very smaller than Michelle Obama, but that is a very East Coast is very popular in the beginning stages of the game, as well as a 20% swing state bonus. So potentially Florida with that agriculture African American swing state. Although he does have a big major penalty, which makes sense. He is Grant in the Old South, similarly to Abraham Lincoln. And then looking at Michelle Obama, just like Barack Obama, has a 50% African American bonus, 20% Latino high-tech export and swing state, town and gown. So very, very strong candidate. So, who is your wager on here to take down this tournament? Which of those candidates? Turn 1 will tell many tales. Will all $250,000 be spent by each player? Probably not. A game of chicken, perhaps. Will any of the big 4 states of California and its 55 electoral votes, or Texas and its 38 electoral votes, Florida and its 29 electoral votes, or the state of New York? Will any of those states be claimed? Of course, in the first round, there's a high chance of a clash, and clashed money is wasted money. And in a 4-person game, that can be the difference of getting your stronghold built, your core, and making it into the later stages of the game, or perhaps not making it at all. Again, just a reminder, I am independent Trump and I will not be playing anything this entire move. And so when the first ballot is cast and the first player is eliminated, I, of course, will have 0 electors, and I will be eliminated from the game. Now, all of the players came to the agreement that there will be a gentleman's rule that whoever should have been eliminated, as if I was not playing, will then forfeit, thus, on the following turn, thus bringing the game to 3 players. And so it will have a very small effect on the game because, in essence, there is another guaranteed turn. Okay, so here we got some moves here. We've got national groups right at the top, Reagan and Michelle Obama. We have Grant going into Texas. And we had a very small move by FDR. So again, like I was saying, The game might be affected just a little bit, but this is minimizing that, and all players have agreed, and so it'll be very exciting. So again, just to recap, we did have FDR going into Oklahoma, which signals that he is going after the oil and gas bonus, meaning that with Texas being preoccupied by Grant, that means that California is highly likely to be on FDR's radar because he does have $480,000 and he could put 2 pegs into California and not be contested because no one else other than yours truly has more than $400,000, and so he could put 2 pegs into California if he wanted to. I expect Mr. Reagan to go after his big conservative bonus. He spent 1 peg, meaning he'd have to spend $300,000 his next turn to maximize that, and then the next turn he would finish off his evangelical bonus. And then Grant, Grant has several different options. He's obviously trying to corner the market on that manufacturing bonus. Look for him to possibly just go 1 peg into Texas. He could, stake a claim in an Illinois or a Wisconsin, but we'll see if he chooses to do so. And then, of course, we have Michelle Obama, who started off in the national group. She is going after labor and conservative. So I expect her to spend $200,000 there. And then beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. Go ahead and make my $0 turn. All right, guys, turn number 2 is in the books. And of course, as we suspected, Reagan getting his $70,000 per turn bonus, and we have Obama getting her $60,000 labor and environment bonus. And as I suspected, California did go to FDR. Some more oil states. Grant did, Michelle Obama went after Illinois, pivotal for her African-American stake. And then we had Grant. What did Grant spend his money on? Oh, Texas, of course. Yes. So, just like we predicted, nothing too crazy on the outset. It'll probably take 1 or 2 more turns to get a clear picture of exactly where people are going to stake their I have to have those states. In multiplayer games, it's very different than head-to-head games. I enjoy multiplayer games because it really brings another level of game theory and cat and mouse, and almost like poker, where you have to call someone's bluff or go all in on a single state. Whereas in one-on-one, there's a lot more just math and just basic race to get the bonuses. Of course, it's very strategic and fun as well. But I play lots of one-on-one. I tend to favor that just because I'm competitive and hate to lose. But it's harder to win a multiplayer game because it's kind of like Risk. If you play the board game Risk, one person could be dominating, and if everyone teams up on that person, it could be very hard for that person to win. So, again, we had Reagan finishing out the evangelical bonus. We had Michelle Obama get 40 electoral votes that round, bringing her total up to 60. And right now, Reagan is behind, but he does have the money advantage, and he did get an uncontested claim into the great state of Florida. And Florida's 5 wonderful bonuses: African American, Latino, ag, export, and swing states. It can be a very pivotal state to have in this game. I find Florida to be like that hot girlfriend that, it's so very attractive at 100K, but it's so pretty that all the guys walking by, keep looking at Florida like, oh, maybe I can steal Florida. So I find Florida to be one of the hardest states to own in a multiplayer game, but we'll see how Reagan does. We did have Grant going his 3rd run in Texas. We did have Obama staking her claim, Michelle, in the state of New York. So pairing that with Illinois, 2 great states to be in. And then we did have Grant getting into Wisconsin and North Carolina. So pairing that with Texas, that will wrap up his manufacturing bonus. Look for FDR to spend in Colorado, in Oklahoma, in Louisiana, get some of those oil money, Louisiana and West Virginia. So there will be some bonuses. It's going to be interesting because very soon there will be multiple players fighting over the same states. And so it's going to be, looking at your opponents. Who do you want to go to war with? Who do you think, you can eliminate from the game and in turn be in their states already? Because remember, the first time you are investing in a state, you can only spend 1 or 2 rings of that state. If someone is out of the game, if someone was leading that state and is removed, then the next person would get those electoral votes. So that becomes very important in the later stages. So we do have a clash in Colorado, Grant and Reagan, but FDR takes that. Okay, Florida, and Reagan being overly cautious, going 1 extra rung past the bonus, making it just a little bit less tempting to go into the Sunshine State. We do have multiple players in Louisiana, uncontested in Maryland, uncontested in North Carolina. Looks like Grant is going to wrap up the manufacturing bonus, and at 35% should be relatively easy to maintain. Challenging FDR in Oklahoma, and should be uncontested. No, he's challenging in West Virginia as well. So he has definitely staked that FDR and Grant are going to go to war. They're going to be in the same states, and it's very likely that it's not those 2 in the final 2. We do have FDR at 133 currently leading the electoral count, Grant at 93, Michelle Obama 71, and Mr. Ronald Reagan at 39. But again, he's making over $100,000 extra per turn. So, and he's uncontested in Florida. So could he potentially go for, let's see what Reagan would be doing, because he's got to make up some ground here. He is in swing state. So he is in Arizona, which is bound to be popular because of not only Michelle Obama's stake in African American bonus, but of course her town and gown. So I look for her to spend up there. Colorado, because of Grant and FDR's rivalry with oil, that's maybe not the best place to attack. If I was Reagan, I probably would go into I don't know, Ohio, Virginia, and maybe if you could get New Hampshire. Would that be quite enough? No, probably would need enough. Yeah, we need 1 more swing state. And you get Iowa to get that bonus. Let's see here. Could any other bonuses for not? Oh, so she'll get town and gown. Most likely if she defends in Arizona and just puts 1 rung in Massachusetts. Go ahead and do my deed here. Awesome. So players are thinking, they're taking their time. We have FDR with oil. So yes, Arizona does get finished off if Reagan can survive. Of course, he'll have the advantage in Arizona later on if something ever did happen to Obama. He does finish off Iowa. There's Massachusetts, so that does bring Town and Gown into the play. Yes, and I just had a message. I will be sharing the video on the page for sure, and I know several players have on the lounge have YouTube channels. I had a fantasy sports channel, but I stopped posting a long time ago. I do plan to have some 270 content, so that's exciting. So Town and Gown is the only bonus that was secured that round. That's an extra $90,000 for Michelle Obama. That's most likely, instead of going to be outreach into states like Iowa or New Hampshire, Minnesota, it's probably going to be maybe in her back pocket to get defense in New York in case someone does eventually challenge her. I know a lot of states, especially Democratic candidates, like to go Massachusetts and then build off of Utah because they both have the high-tech bonus. I believe her bonus is 20% for high-tech. Yes. And so with her being in Michigan and eventually Utah and Massachusetts, you're starting to build a little path there. But really her focus is that African-American bonus. So if she can get... she's got Arizona, Illinois, Michigan, and New York. She's less than 100,000. She's like some of the southern states, maybe a Maryland and a Virginia. Some was high tech, but also African American bonuses might come into play. Let's take a look at some of the bonuses. So again, Latino. So high tech, if FDR can close out a few of these states. He's getting pretty close. So that's where we stand on some of those bonuses. And then I have to go ahead and make my turn. Sorry. My home state of Missouri, give it a shout out, the Show Me State. Home of the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. Let's go Blues. So right now this map is very colorful. Lots of different shades. But I expect that to dwindle down, especially with this many talented players in the game. Okay. Michelle Obama not taking any chances. She is spending money in Illinois. FDR goes ahead and finishes out Louisiana. So oil, export, African-American, Old South, lots of bonuses tied to that state. Michelle Obama, again, playing a little bit conservative and aggressive at the same time. Conservative with her, Pennsylvania swings to Grant. So she's being aggressive with spending her town and gown money in Utah, in Iowa, in New Hampshire, possibly going for swing states later on if she can get Florida, which seems like would be a target of hers. But we have swing states going to Reagan. So that's 114,000. Let's see, is there anyone in his swing states? We know that Michelle Obama just spent money in Iowa, in New Hampshire. So no one's in Virginia. So he's relatively safe. I don't expect Michelle Obama to really attack. I think she's more likely to defend Utah than she is to spend money on those swing states because the high-tech bonus can be more valuable to her later on. Grant, is going after oil, or at least trying to defend off FDR, from an eventual clash of California versus Texas, some of the two giants. Expect Grant to finish off Pennsylvania. Why take the chance? And if FDR wants to risk all that money, so be it. Let's see if FDR No, he's not really in any states that Grant controls other than that. But the same is not true. Grant is in several of FDR states, including Oklahoma, including West Virginia. Really, right now, Reagan is sitting pretty good. He does have the swing state bonus, and he is building up some momentum in the South. He does have a money advantage of 630,000, but he is trailing in the Electoral College. So, again, a ballot will be triggered when there are 100 electoral votes that are sealed completely all the way to the top of 10, and every state is occupied. Myself, Donald Trump, I will be eliminated, but the gentleman's agreement is that whoever is in fourth place will at that time bow out, and there will be 3 contestants. Comment below who you think is in the catbird seat right now. If there's anything you would do as one of these candidates. Interesting. Michelle Obama did not want to risk Georgia. She's going heavily in Georgia. We did have Grant enter Florida, Massachusetts, Michigan. So FDR putting some pressure on some high-tech states. Reagan pressuring in North Carolina with his swing money. And FDR pressuring in a couple cheap states. So we have New Mexico and New Hampshire. Like I said, Grant went ahead and finished off Pennsylvania. Shout out to South Carolina getting closed off. I love the logo. Got the nice Hilton Head Island lighthouse in the picture. And we have some more states being entered in. So everyone is in triple digits. Reagan's at 101, Grant 109, FDR 127, and Michelle Obama, who secured her 150,000 African-American bonus every single turn, just like Lincoln, just like Obama, having that 50% African, Barack Obama it is, having that $150,000 per turn bonus is huge. It can help her in the South. It can help her close out some of those key states like Michigan, like Illinois. That is a huge bonus. Now, we have some important decisions for some folks to make. FDR, do you go on the aggressive? Do you try to take Michigan? Probably not now because she has an African American bonus. However, she does not have high tech, and you want high tech. Could this be a place where you attack over here? Reagan. North Carolina looks juicy, but Mr. Grant has his manufacturing bonus. But Grant is also being pressured in several places. So where does those 3 candidates, FDR, Reagan, and Grant, are all intertwined with kind of Grant being in the middle. Not a fun place to be, especially not ahead in the electoral vote and really only has that manufacturing bonus. If he can somehow get oil, that would put a huge damper on FDR, but FDR, if he can get high tech, that would be huge. Really, Michelle Obama is in a great situation. Nothing to really jeopardize her town and gown. She could possibly lose it, but she could also take over states like Iowa or New Hampshire if she did lose Massachusetts. And that's really not her. Her goal is really to keep the African American bonus. So, yep. And then just to kind of update, we do have 28 plus another 20. So 48 electoral votes of the 100 have been completely filled. So we need 52 more to trigger the first ballot. American bonus. Okay, so Michelle Obama does defend in Massachusetts and Michigan, which is to be expected. Staking a claim in Minnesota just in case she would have lost Massachusetts. North Carolina. Okay, Grant. Wow, Grant went ahead and finished that off. So that means he'll keep his manufacturing bonus, especially as long as no one can test him in Indiana or Kentucky. Reagan going into Texas, FDR going into Virginia. So you can see what everyone's main goals are. Michelle Obama is really looking to use her African American bonus and really hold on to that as long as possible, get into as many states in the South, and as players are eliminated, possibly capitalize on that. You have Ronald Reagan, who is really in the South, in the swing states, has the majority of the money, waiting to kind of see where is this going to shake down. If he can somehow steal Texas with his lead in Ohio, and I expect him to possibly finish off Wisconsin this turn, that would mean that taking over the state of Texas eventually would result in manufacturing bonus, which, let's just look at his. He does not have a huge, he doesn't even have a bonus. That's just a normal, kind of the standard bonus for him. FDR has finished off several states, including these cheap ones of New Mexico and Colorado and Louisiana. And we have Maryland, Connecticut, West Virginia, finish my turn here. Let's check on Grant. Not really pressuring too much in Florida. Nobody else is in Nobody else is in California. Now, we did have a few more states cleared off that turn. Georgia being one of them. Alabama being another. So there potentially could be a ballot this turn. Connecticut. Let's see if all of the other states, see if someone went into Missouri or Nevada, New Jersey. Awesome. So no clash. We do have clash in Nevada. There will not be a ballot this round. Or New Jersey. Reagan pressuring in New York. Man, these guys have played a really intense game so far. And it is going to be really interesting the next couple turns to see who comes up on the short end. So Grant plays it safe. He puts an extra rung into Texas. Reagan finishes off Virginia. And conflict in Vermont. Awesome. So this very easily could be the last turn before a ballot. So we do have Ronald Reagan currently sitting at 101. Whoever is the lowest amount when there's after a ballot would be eliminated. That, of course, is going to be me, Donald Trump. I am independent. I'm just commentating for this tournament final. And there's a gentleman's agreement. Whoever is in fourth place will forfeit the match. So that way the game is not affected too much. Now, we are well over the 100 electoral votes needed to secure a ballot the following turn. However, not every state is occupied. So we don't have anyone in Nevada, New Jersey, some of these Latino states, and the town and gown states up in the Northeast. So with everyone having over 370,000, Grant, the low money man, FDR then at 575, and then two well over 700K. Look for some fireworks to be spent this turn. So I would suspect that Michelle Obama plays it safe, spends at least her town and gown, possibly her African American bonus in the state of New York to hold off Reagan. Reagan does have the swing bonus, which he doesn't really have a use for at the moment. All the other swing states have been sealed off, except for Florida, which Grant cannot pass him in. So he will not be spending all of his money this turn. FDR really is, doesn't really have anywhere to attack. Maybe just hold off the lead. Possibly pressure in Massachusetts, but that's probably suicide. Don't know why he would risk that at this point in the game. So, yeah, let's just do this. $0. And we'll wait and see. Awesome. So Grant does steal in Minnesota. And like we suggested, Michelle Obama does finish off Massachusetts. Like I thought, Michelle Obama does spend 2 in New York. And Reagan holds off Grant. So it's coming down to the wire. Do we have a ballot? No, we do not have a ballot. So again, these states, Nevada, New Jersey, Vermont, Maine, and Rhode Island, they're all white. That indicates that no one has invested any money into that or currently holds a stake into a claim into that state. And so there is not a ballot because we are well over the 100 electoral votes needed to cause a ballot. We did have some interesting action in Texas. FDR went ahead and spent 2, setting himself up for massive, massive bonuses if he can get a 3rd rung in Texas and if Grant is the one who is indeed eliminated. So definitely putting his chips on the table, hoping that Grant can be the one ousted. Grant did not steal Wisconsin. Let's see, where can Grant flip some votes here? Missouri. So he's in a lot of those states that there's been clashes. Reagan. Where can Reagan get some money? Reagan is also in several of those states. He has 978,000. Look for him to really spend some money in possibly I don't know, where does he spend his money? Because he's not going to spend it in New York. He has some swing state bonus he really can't use yet. So, but he needs to make it to the next round, or otherwise all that money will just go wasted. So he'll definitely spend his swing state money in Wisconsin, at least 70K of it. Go ahead and spend $0. Again, I'm just commentating. I'm not playing. I did win the last one-on-one individual 270 tournament, but this is the very first multiplayer tournament from the 270 Lounge. And a big shout out to all the competitors. These are the final 4. And we will end today's match with a champion. So far we have no clashes. Will there be a clash in Rhode Island? No. So all we need now is Vermont. Or was there a clash in New Jersey and I missed it? We might have ourselves a ballot. meaning the very next turn, if anyone has 270, they automatically win the presidency, just like in real life, or whoever is in last place will be eliminated. There is a ballot. Ballots will be counted at the end of the next turn to determine if there is a winner. Please, and thank you, plan wisely. So, there's really no reason to hold back if you are someone like a Ronald Reagan. Might be hard to flip Texas, however. He's got 1.27 million, but a lot of that is swing state bonuses that he has accumulated. Again, Michelle Obama has the African American bonus. She does have 500. She could possibly take a stab at Florida, although I expect Reagan to counter. Grant is in a multitude of states. He does need to maybe hold on to just a couple of the states that he is maybe having a one or two run lead, these cheap northeastern states. A state like New Jersey, and its 14 electoral votes at this point could be huge if he could somehow hold on to that, but with multiple players in that state, it might be tough to do so. Then FDR might take a gamble, go one rung into Texas, and hope that Reagan does not follow and that Grant is the one eventually eliminated, but right now that's probably not the wisest thing either. And hoarding cash does roll over from turn to turn, but your bonuses, they do as well, but they're subject to loss if someone does steal that bonus from you. So really, no one is at risk at losing their bonus. And so it's just going to be the best man or woman that will survive. And we should see some pretty big fireworks. Usually I have a better feel on where this is going to go. I am hesitant to give too many predictions. I know Reagan has to spend some of this money. He can't take it with him. So, I mean, Nevada, Montana, Idaho, some of these cheap states, he could just go all in. But if he doesn't make it the next round, all that 1.27 million won't do him any good. Again, you get $250,000 per turn. All the other money that you get from bonuses can accumulate, and whoever is the last person standing or the first person after a ballot to get 270 electoral votes will be the winner. People are taking their time. Very important decision coming up. I know when I usually play this game, I try to maximize my time, make sure I'm doing the math. Can someone overtake me in this state? Where am I at a loss? Potential loss for bonus doesn't look like that's in play, but could there be a bonus earned? Like, for example, agriculture for Grant, really close. High tech, FDR, not really in play. Old South, not really in play at the moment, but someone will get that with the African American bonus and kind of the congestion down there. Export, no one's really in close to that. Latino, same thing, but that's because the big four are occupied by 4 different owners. So whoever can really get the advantage on maybe 2 or 3 of those states will have a huge advantage at the end game. Here we go. Florida, nothing. Hawaii flips. Idaho should go Reagan. Yep. Indiana. Now, Grant could contest. He does not. Interesting. Kansas flips. Maryland looks to be... Oh, FDR did not play defense. So Reagan will be around, although he does lose 6 to Michelle Obama. There's a clash in Missouri. Montana. goes back to Reagan. Nebraska, town and gown and ag goes Reagan. Clash in Nevada. New Jersey, big 14 electoral votes. Reagan does not take it all the way, but goes up 4. And then Grant did not like losing Indiana, so he pressures in Ohio. And Oregon flips. South Carolina flips. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Looking like it's going to be FDR or Reagan. Oh, boy. Vermont flipping from Grant. And it looks like, unfortunately for Mr. Grant, that he will be eliminated. Now, it will affect the bonuses by 1 turn as well. That's interesting. So, all that bonuses money that should have gone to FDR this turn might be delayed a turn. So, I am going to be eliminated. But by the power of spectate mode, I will be able to bring you that final game loading. So again, okay, I do feel good about this. Because FDR did not spend $200K in Texas, he would have not had all of the bonuses that come with having both California and Texas, such as agriculture and export. He already had oil, so and Latino with his already having Colorado and New Mexico. So that's good. We didn't cost him any money by doing this, but it is our expectation now that Grant will forfeit this turn, meaning that FDR is the de facto leader in Texas. However, only by 1 run, only by 200,000, and Reagan does have 513. Now, we do know that his bonus is in the swing states of 114. So that one, he is actually, he only has 399. He doesn't have 4. So he should not be able to go 2 rungs if FDR is doing the math. So that means that FDR will have the ag, he will have Latino, and he will have export, or should have export at the end. No, maybe not export. Let's see. He's got, well, it's going to be close because he already has Washington and Louisiana. I think that should be pretty close. He might be just a hair short. So there goes Grant. Grant, it was a heck of a battle. I didn't talk about that, but a clash in California, because they are anticipating that FDR will get that bonus and they want to pressure. Plus, it is you want to be in as many states as you possibly can be to maximize your opportunity to attack later. But also, if you are in someone else's state, they are going to be possibly influenced to spend more money on a state where they might not have to. So again, it'll be a lot clearer picture as we get down to fewer and fewer candidates. Now that we have Grant dropping out, we are down to FDR, Michelle Obama, and of course Ronald Reagan, who right now it is anyone's match. Now, FDR has 4 bonuses. Michelle Obama only has 2 bonuses. However, no one's pressuring her in New York. She's already in Florida. If Reagan is the one that drops out, that could be huge for her. And Texas and California will be possibly fought for. 12 plus 6 plus 11, 17, 19 plus 14 plus 7, 6, 10, 8. I believe 20, yeah, well, in this Pennsylvania was closed out. Now it's not. So 15, 25. We should be getting close to another ballot, especially as some of these other states start to close off, if we're not already there. So right now, Michelle Obama is going to have to make some noise here. She trails Reagan in both money and electoral votes. But one of her biggest advantages is she does have that large African American bonus, and North Carolina, expect her to attack in North Carolina. Reagan does have the swing state, but with her African American bonus and him also the pressure in Florida, possibly she could just spend a little bit, roll over that money the next round, force Reagan into a move. Reagan's kind of the one who's in an interesting spot because he really only has swing states. And a lot of the states are occupied or already full. So it's going to be tough. If I had to make a prediction, it's going to be tough for Reagan to make it to the next round, as Michelle Obama flipped several states. FDR pressuring in New York, okay. Can't say he didn't try. Pennsylvania being closed off. So yeah, we're over 100. It's just a matter of, will there be a clash in a state that no one has a stake to, and it looks like possibly Kentucky might prevent a ballot, as 169 for Reagan, 175 for Michelle Obama, and 194 for Mr. Barack Obama. No, we already had someone in Kentucky, so there will be a ballot. Apologize, misspoke. Looked white, but Reagan is in Kentucky. So, Mr. FDR, it's going to be really interesting. Really, really interesting. Okay, so Reagan has to flip something. Where could Reagan flip? Where could Reagan flip? Reagan in the Northeast, there's a few states. In Nebraska, no, that's not worth it. She'll close that out. He's really got to get some of these northeastern states. She knows this. She can defend. However, she does not want to give up on a state like a North Carolina. That if she plays complete defense too, although if he loses, then it doesn't matter. She'll get that state anyway. So maybe not fight in, or maybe put one rung in North Carolina, making sure that if FDR decides to go to, that you still have control if there's a clash by one rung. Yeah, unfortunately, for all you Ronald Reaganites out there, it's not looking very promising. Which FDR has put the preemptive strike into New York, but Michelle Obama could put one in Florida, possibly get another bonus once, say, Reagan drops out. So FDR does not play any defense. Maybe he'd like to play against Reagan and not Michelle Obama. That comes into play sometimes as well. So, of course, Michelle Obama, defending her life, covers up Maine. And Reagan closes North Carolina. Maybe a little bit of too much money spent, but hey, when your life is on the line, you got to do what you got to do. Will it be enough? 3 votes short. Oh, Vermont, nope, sorry. Mr. Ronald Reagan, it was a good, valiant effort, but it will be FDR and Michelle Obama in the championship. Got to keep watching the game, keep being a spectator. So congratulations. I mean, valiant effort for Mr. Troy. He was Reagan. Now we have 264 to 248 in the favor of the purple team. So we have Michelle Obama, who does have the majority of the electoral votes, and a lot of hers are clinched. But we do have the majority of the bonuses going toward FDR. If I look at swing states, it looks like swing states will not be taken over this turn because that's not going to be enough. Likely see someone entering into Wisconsin. Now, if you are FDR here, you cannot let Michelle Obama force a ballot. And so some of these states where we don't have any action, you're going to see some action. So here we go. FDR going into these states. Hawaii, Idaho. We have both of them in, okay, Kentucky. New Hampshire, New Jersey, 14 electoral votes. That brings her total down a bit. Here we go. Okay, so a lot of them trying to get into swing states. 288 to 250. And the manufacturing bonus. So all is well in the land of FDR. Looks like FDR has a stranglehold and the 1.26 million. I don't see a pathway forward for Michelle Obama, who does have a lot of money in African American, possibly Virginia, but of course FDR will be defending. Maryland is another state. 10 electoral votes. She needs to flip 20. So, assuming that nothing else is flipped, it was a valiant game by all parties here. Yeah, she's in trouble in Iowa. Indiana's safe. He does have manufacturing for Ohio. Trying to think of a combination that gets her 20 that he's maybe not expecting. Yeah, the one regret I would have had if I was FDR was putting some money in North Carolina and maybe forcing her to use some of her African-American bonus on defense, and she can't do it in North Carolina and Florida. But yeah, so if I'm FDR, that 10 and 10 of Wisconsin and Maryland looks very appealing. If I was Michelle Obama to try to flip to get to maybe leave alone the Latino and but you have to have a backup plan. You have to maybe. But if she loses 6 in Iowa, the problem is there's so many states have been clinched. and she's not in any of his states over here in the up in the north northwest, like Montana, Idaho. He doesn't have to spend any money there. So looks like a GG. Well played for FDR. But again, that's why you play. Hopefully no one has their phone die or Wi-Fi connections. I hate that. And hopefully there's no infamous 270 glitch. That would be depressing on the first multiplayer tournament. Let's not even think about it. Big shout out to Richard Altfeld for setting up this tournament. It's been fun to keep track of in the Facebook lounge of 270. 270 is a great game to play. It's very fun, strategic. It can be very stressful. But the community, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, there are lots of people. Okay, so she does hold Iowa. Lots of good people in that group, just to finish that thought. Didn't pressure in Maryland. Okay, so she coming in Ohio. She did. He defended. Defended well. Defended well. Great game. Great game. FDR. Finishing off Michelle Obama. And we will crown a champion. It is FDR. That means congratulations to Richard Altfeld, the tournament director, the tournament champion, the pride of Jackson, Tennessee, brings home the title. Thank you all for tuning in to this stream, and we will catch you guys in the next tournament. Thank you so much for Josh Neptune, for Troy Moore, and whoever Michelle Obama was. Oh, BC Mayfield. Sorry, it's right in front of my eyes. Couldn't see it. Great players. Great stream. Beautiful map.